Hello and welcome to today's Rocksmith developer stream. I am your host and community developer for Rocksmith, Doug Lilly. What are we doing here today? Today we're going to look at the Metal Mix Song Pack 2. We've got 3 new songs full of metal to offer unto you. We're going to look at all 3 of those songs plus an extra one today. We're also going to have some giveaways, some from Ernie Ball as well as some of this week's DLC. And Brian Turner, that is Ubisoft, he'll be helping you with those raffles throughout the stream a little bit later on. He'll also be taking any of your questions that you might have for us here in the studio to give unto you. Right now, let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for Metal Mix 2.
Don't cry, regenerate to deny the truth, the fiction, you leave me blind by your eyes. Disclosure, stability, this time you got to fly. Okay, in pain, I never said that you're right. Enemies, they want to look at me, and get what you will always be. This is flesh, blood, and soul. Tear me out, find me out. So punch, chase me on the floor. Tear me apart, but I don't care anymore. Should I regret or ask myself, are you dead? To confine all who get in the way of the divine, indicted in mind of the hypocrite, a slave to the curse, forever confined.
And we are back. I'm here beside Andrew Levin.
What up, Doug?
Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm over here. I'm still Doug Lilly, but now I'm just Doug Lilly, not behind a podium. It's technically a different creature, but with a lot of the same features.
Just your energy is in a different place.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm existing here.
Yeah.
So this Metal Mix 2, 3 songs. You note tracked one of those 3 songs.
Yes.
Correct. Which song did you note track?
Are you dead yet?
By Children of Bodom?
Yes.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
Because we're about to play that one.
Cool.
Yeah. Anything you want to mention before we get into it, or should we just?
Why don't we talk about the techniques and stuff
Sure.
afterwards?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. We'll just get right into it.
Yeah.
Again, if you have questions, make sure you reach out to UB Jurassic. And yeah.
Here we go. This is not an easy song.
So I shouldn't talk to you? That is a fun song to play. Oh,
Yeah.
we gotta, what is the sound of one Dan clapping? There you have it. Really fun song.
Yeah.
On bass. It sounds pretty fun on guitar, but I haven't tried that one out yet. So what are we looking at on the guitar? First off, what is this guitar you're playing?
This is the Matt Heafy guitar. It's I really like this thing a lot. It's Epiphone, all white, obviously, as you can see. EMG pickups. Sounds really good for metal.
And it holds these low tunings.
Totally. And this is a metal song, so
yeah,
I
this
figured use a metal
this
guitar.
This is in D drop C.
Yes.
For both bass and guitar and rhythm.
Yep.
Right. Is this? I think there's one song in this pack that does have an alt lead. Is this the song? Or is
Does
there a
this
different
have
song?
alt lead? I don't think
We didn't talk about it.
so.
I know it's been a while since you've actually worked on this.
Yeah, I believe I put this in 3 arrangements.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just bass, lead, rhythm. What's going on between the lead and the rhythm guitars?
Yeah. So a lot of harmony parts. So the rhythm guitar part, it's almost hard to call it like a rhythm part because there are lead aspects to it. I mean, Children of Bodom is such a guitar-heavy band. They do a lot of harmonies and like really intricate work between that. So you're going to get a challenge no
So
matter
Children
what.
of Bodom has like basically a dual lead situation, but just with our naming conventions, one of those parts had to go into the rhythm category.
Totally. And then do I have volume? There we go.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So there's a few parts that are lead that, you know, we're in the lead path. You're playing a lead part, and the rhythm part is rhythm part. That part. The rhythm guitar is playing. What's it? You know, that
Okay,
kind of thing.
yeah.
And that allows Alexi Leho to sing because he's singing while he's playing all of this.
Right.
So he's doing that part. That's in rhythm, but
Okay.
they kind of trade off. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess maybe when he's not singing, he might do a bit more intricate guitar work.
Yeah, like the
Which
solo.
makes sense. Well, I think that's fairly true of a lot of guitarists/singers.
Totally.
Yeah.
There were still some tough parts where you're like, oh, you're singing and playing that. Cool. Good for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Glad you did it.
Yeah. One technique, remember we were talking about with the middle finger on
Yes.
the up here. This is kind of a strange technique for the. That part's super strange. When I first transcribed it, I used my pinky here, which would be kind of the more natural thing to default to. And after watching some videos, I noticed that he used his middle finger here, which is a large stretch, and I was thinking, why is he doing that? And you can actually see in the note track, it's because he's sliding his middle finger down to the 13th fret,
Okay.
so you can play that D shape. So if you're using your pinky here, you can't really do that.
So he's sort of using his middle finger, second finger, to sort of set up a new anchor zone. After
Exactly.
that. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, beyond that, it's like just kind of a marathon of a song. I mean, particularly that
Yeah.
it's deceivingly hard to play.
Right. The bass part is really fun. It has a few more, I would say, breaks where I'm just sort of like sticking with whole notes while everything else is going on up top. But there's a lot of activity in this bass part. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. Any other techniques that you wanted to look at or talk about?
Yeah, let me think. Well, there are so many techniques that are used.
There's a lot going on.
One of the cool things I think is that he does this. If he hits the note kind of like as a ghost note before sliding up, so it's a little bit different. It gives it this kind of unstable but cool sound, and that's definitely intentional. So he's hitting the note and then sliding down, and it gives it it's a very different sound than. Otherwise, you could just do it all in one position.
Right. So is the note landing on the beat, or does the slide start on the beat?
Slide starts on the beat.
Slide starts on the beat. Okay, which is a bit unusual. Because a lot of times if you have a slide up to a note, the slide will happen right before like the downbeat or whatever beat you're playing on.
Yeah, let me think. Yeah.
Okay. Make an Andrew Levin count on stream.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right. Cool. Well, thank you very much
thank
for
you.
joining us for this. We are going to have our first giveaway of the stream. So make sure you listen to what UB Jurassic, once more, that is Brian Turner. He is the community manager based in North Carolina. Make sure you listen to what UB Jurassic is telling you in the chat for your chance to win our first Ernie Ball prize pack of the day. So if you win this prize pack, you're going. Well, first we're gonna wait just a minute while I get out from underneath this bass guitar and try to untangle myself. So you get to listen to me find my way around the studio and hand off instruments to people who just trying to get to their seat, and here I am in their way. But yeah, back to the giveaway. If you win, you will get 2 sets of guitar strings, one 6-string set for your guitar, one 4-string set for your bass. That's the idea. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what instrument to put the strings on, but one of the sets is meant, it's designed for a 6-string guitar, and the other set is designed for a 4-string bass. You'll also get a dozen picks from Ernie Ball. You will get 3 Spectrum Plectrum picks from us. I guess that's a little redundant. Spectrum Plectrum picks. Just Spectrum Plectrums. Is plectrums the plural of plectrum? Plectra. Spectrum Plectra. That doesn't have quite the same ring. But you'll get 3 of those with this giveaway, along with a red guitar strap from Ernie Ball, a package of Wonder Wipes from Ernie Ball, and an Ernie Ball peg winder. If you win, you'll get a whisper from UB Jurassic in the chat. So make sure that you have your whispers enabled for your chance to receive that prize. He will request from you your full name, your shipping address, and your telephone number. We do need all of that information in order to ship your prizes out to you. If you've won in the past couple weeks, I had a brief box shortage, but those all went out at the beginning of this week. So if you're still waiting on a prize from the past week or two, my apologies, it was slightly delayed, but everything's on track now, and I have all the boxes that I could ever use by my desk. Well, for the next few weeks anyway. I'm good for now, that's what I was saying. But I think we are about ready to say hello to our next set of guests. Maybe. We're almost there. We are. Hello.
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 How's it going? Way over there on bass, Anthony Martinez. How's it going?
Hello. It's going well.
Going
How
well.
are you?
I'm doing quite well.
I feel
Thank
like
you.
it's been a while since I've been on.
I think that's true.
It maybe just 2 weeks, but it feels like
It
it's been 2
feels-
years.
It feels like a
I've
long
missed
time.
it.
Yeah. And you're playing the Ibanez that I was just on,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is already set to D drop C.
It's all
Mhm.
low this
So
week.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So that might be a hint for what's coming up, or the fact that David Stevens is sitting to my left might be another hint as to what's coming up.
Nice guitar, man.
Thank you, sir.
David Stevens. Well, okay, we'll get to you and this nice guitar for last thing for Anthony Martinez. You did note track this. Is this correct?
Yeah, this is something that I co-authored with Sam Schwartz,
Okay.
and I got help from Brian Shu as well. I actually consulted with David a bunch because I referenced a few live performances
Right.
that feature different band members, like playing in different positions. So yeah, I just
Just so everyone's on the same page, Davidian is the song that we're talking about right now.
yeah.
So David.
Yes.
Ian, David, Ian.
waiting
Is your
for
real
it.
name Ian?
No,
'Cause That would be
no.
That would be
No,
funny. So what's this?
that's my guitar.
This is your guitar.
Yeah.
So this is new.
This is my
You were-
dad guitar.
You were you were inspired.
Yeah, yeah. No, I finally got around to getting a real like pro level instrument.
Yeah. It
By
is.
by not buying any for a long time. so
right.
That's,
Instead of that
that's
one
how that
guitar a
works.
year, you just wait 20 years and then finally
Yeah,
you get
and
that
I got
guitar.
this weeks ago, but everybody's asking me when I'm going to play it on the stream, and,
Right. Now
and
seems
so
like
on
a
and so
great
forth. And so I saved it for one of my favorite songs.
So how does it hold to the low tuning?
Absolutely fantastic.
All right.
Yeah.
So you did not note track this,
No.
but you're playing lead.
True. Yeah, and I actually learned this when I was a kid. So that's why I was able to help Anthony. I already knew
Okay.
the song. So
Okay.
yeah. We'll see if I can still play it. But
So Davidian, Machine Head. This wasn't their first album.
this
was
is
it?
their first
their
album.
first
Yeah.
album?
Actually
Okay.
celebrating 25 years this August. So
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah, Bay Area band too. Not a lot
Yeah.
of people
Which-
realize they're from Oakland.
Yeah, I'm learning about a lot of artists that are from the Bay Area that I didn't realize were from the Bay Area before I moved to the Bay Area. But there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people local to here. It's a really cool scene. So anything else you want to tell us about your PRS here?
I love it. I was really fortunate to find everything I wanted. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I kind of listed out everything that I wanted it to have,
Yeah.
and then looked to see if it existed. And sure enough, this one had been out of the factory all of 3 weeks when I found it, so I got totally lucky. The real stickler was a full rosewood neck, which if you've ever played one is a treat.
Right.
I mean, you know, a lot of people on the stream love our the St. Vincent,
Right.
which also has a full rosewood neck. And,
Yeah.
and I think that's part of the attraction.
I did just see a question from Toy Machine SH. How big of a pitch shift was involved for this song?
They just do this in straight D drop C.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Although that is an outlier for them because a lot of their songs are actually lower.
okay.
But
Anthony,
you're talking about the actual wave, the
Yeah.
audio file. I'd have to check.
Sometimes-
we
'cause
have that
sometimes
information though.
we tend to, especially currently,
Mm-hmm.
most everything that comes out is in a 440.
That's right.
So if the recording is not, it's a little bit sharp or a little bit flat,
Mm-hmm.
it might be shifted a little bit so that you don't have to retune.
Yeah.
Quite
Actually,
so.
Andrew would know if we pitch shifted this
Oh.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
It's been a while. It's been a while.
We work on DLC months in advance,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
we do
Okay,
have this
that's fair.
information. And thanks for the question, Toy Machine. No, we'll be able to
actually
answer
don't
that
think
later.
Thanks for the
I don't think
opportunity
we
to
pitched it
embarrass
at all.
everyone.
Yeah, this has always been pretty straightforward. But I know they do a lot of stuff in just straight like C sharp too. And yeah, we chose this one because it was highly requested and
Right.
and it was kind of their breakout hit.
And we were talking actually earlier today. You and I were talking about just albums from 1994.
Yeah,
th-
yeah, it
this
was a
being
heck
one
of a
them.
year.
So a lot of great production that year. A lot of sort of infusion of loosely industrial sounds into other types of music, and I would say that this Machine Head album was part of that
Absolutely.
movement. There's
Yep,
some
there's some tracks towards the end of the disc that really lean into that.
that sort of industrial metal kind of sound.
Yep.
Cool. And this song in particular has a little bit of that throughout, but it's not as
Yeah, I
pronounced.
mean it's definitely the early '90s
that
thrash
footprint
sound.
is in there. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a post Slayer Metallica.
With a lot of groove.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah,
during
heavy
the
groove,
outro.
heavy
groove.
man.
Yeah.
The
It's like-
outro is killer.
The song is like all breakdown. It's like
We should prove it.
90% breakdown. Yeah, well, let's go ahead and play. This
Let's
is
do it.
Davidian by Machine Head.
Thank
best part of the riff. The extra 2 beats.
I saw you shredding over on the bass there too.
Can you just keep playing that for another 10 minutes? Sorry to do that. That is such a fun song, and I stand by 90% breakdown, especially if you just keep playing that.
Oh,
for the
forever.
next 10 minutes. Yeah.
Absolutely,
it's so
yeah.
fun.
Man, this song is awesome.
So one thing I do want to ask about on that chart, one thing you don't see very often are harmonic double stops.
It's not a double step. Oh,
It's
no. You're talking about the in the like pre-chorus.
Yeah,
It's like right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there are a few sections, a few parts of the lead in this song which are just sort of like kind of noisy, fun things that aren't necessarily, I would say, melodic, but they're very textural and they're helpful to the song, but they're just kind of noisy, fun things to play. Almost a little bit primacy, like in the lead up to the solo.
A
There was
little,
there was like a moment. There was like there's just a touch Primus guitar work in there, which I think is fun.
Yeah, harmonics are always fun.
Yeah. So
Especially if you can use them melodically.
yeah, with those harmonic double stops, is that a thing? Am I saying that right?
That's a
Maybe
fair
sure.
way to describe them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything special in approaching those, or do you just
No. I mean, really,
Strum
you would
through.
play it like any other harmonic, but just play both strings at the same time.
They're so noisy. I
You
love
can,
it.
you can add you can add strings too if you want.
Yeah.
It's like-
And you could break it down too if you want to practice that. It's a good idea to just practice the double stop harmonics alone, and then try to incorporate it into the riff. And it helps
Yeah.
to learn both parts individually and then combine them, and then focus
Absolutely.
on what you're doing before those harmonics and where you're supposed to be going after, because it requires a certain amount of planning, and then you build that
Yeah.
muscle memory, and then the harmonics just become a part of the riff.
Yeah, and getting them to ring out in like a high gain situation, you got to find that
Yeah.
sweet spot on the neck,
Yeah.
and it's usually it's like right above the actual fret wire itself, but that can vary by your guitar scale and what song you're playing, or which flavor of the harmonic you're trying to hit.
Right.
So just use your ears.
Cool. Anything else with this song that you wanted to discuss, as far as technique wise, or
I mean, it's the bridge section, I guess, during the solo is really tough. So David actually played the solo while I was performing that part on bass. But it's this riff here, if I may, if I could. Oh, nice. There it is. It's this one. I was talking about this riff with Shu, and it's awesome because it sounds creepy. It sounds very dark.
yeah.
And there's a little bit of a diminished pattern in there, and then it just adds chromaticism at the end.
It's almost claustrophobic the way
Yeah.
it sort of tightens up towards the end.
It
of the
sounds
riff.
evil.
Yeah.
It does, and it feels like it speeds up a little bit, from start to finish. It's much easier to play on bass, in my opinion, because you're playing eighth notes, whereas 16th notes appear in the guitar, and that's just
and then
that's
the
really
rhythm chart.
tricky.
The
Yeah,
rhythm chart has
yeah.
those in 16ths.
Yeah, but it's a cool part to learn. So
Yeah.
Great
that's one
song.
that I wanted to point out.
And David, you were mentioning earlier how all of the singers from this week's pack also play guitar.
Yeah, that's
Often-
coincidence, but
Oftentimes
yeah,
in,
very
in,
cool.
a, in a lead position or dual lead.
yeah, and all three of these, well, rip death, but all three of these bands were great live. Which is
Yeah, right.
something to be
right.
said for this kind of.
Cool. I do have some questions from the chat. The first two from Totally Not Fio, which again, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. In some songs, the lyrics aren't charted fully. Like there might be like shouts or barks or like kind of outro words that are left off. Why is that? I think I have an answer, but
I can answer that since I actually prep a lot of the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of cases, the focus will stay on the lead singer.
Okay.
You know, the interface, you know, for what it's worth, is you know, fairly straightforward in the lines that we can show, and without making it too complex or difficult to read in time. You know, we try and keep everything simple as possible.
Yeah.
So I tend to avoid like backing vocals that just you know, like sort of shout out the chorus behind, or just even like you know, like samples don't make a lot of sense
Right.
to chart as a lyric.
Right.
Some songs, that stuff actually makes sense to include, so you'll see it. And so there's not any hard fast rule for how we deal with it, but we do approach it from
so it's somewhat subjective.
yeah.
And
yeah.
I imagine you can tell me if I'm please tell me if I'm wrong. But I imagine that when you sit down, you're mostly trying to get the lyrics as written, not so much the lyrics as recorded. Or
I do a
backwards
straight
on that?
vocal transcription of
Okay.
what's being sung.
okay, so it
Yep.
is
Yeah.
okay, based on that recording.
So yeah, and you reference those lyrics too that we receive from licensing, and then just ultimately side with what's heard in the master.
Yeah, and if there's questions, I have all kinds of resources I go to you know, figure out
Yeah.
what they were actually singing, or and sometimes we'll actually just get you know, like Dio. You know, we just got a scan of the actual vinyl album with
Oh,
the,
wow.
the lyrics in it, which is really
Ni-
cool. And most of the time it's just like a Word doc or something. But
Well, this is actually goes into the second question from Totally Not For You, is who does the lyrics for the songs? Is it a note tracker or some lyric guy on the team?
it's really part of the pipeline. Yeah, everybody has a hand in it.
Okay. And how long? So their lyrics aren't done necessarily separate from the rest of the charts. It's all part of the same process. So
Yeah, yeah.
Another part of the question was how long does it take to get the lyrics? But if it's being done alongside the song, it's not necessarily a timing thing that you can pick out.
It really depends on the
individually.
song. I wouldn't say I've spent any more than an hour on a single song.
Okay.
But I've had a lot of practice too. So
And that's transcription and then formatting the words.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, but we pay attention
Appropriately.
to formatting so that it's still easy to read and that the cadence makes sense. And
Makes sense. All right. And another question from Jeremies. Jeremies, I think I'm reading that right. What's the bass? What is a bass? What do you
Oh,
play?
this is an Ibanez sound gear.
Ibanez sound gear.
Yeah, we have a ton of these around the office.
Yeah.
They're affordable. They play very well, and this is one of my favorite basses.
Yeah,
so
that's-
highly recommend.
That's become one of my favorite in the office as
Yeah.
well. It seems
It
to
just
hold
feels
up.
good too.
It feels good,
plays
and
well.
it holds up pretty well to the low tune.
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean,
Does-
I
it does
missed a
everything.
few. It does it all. I missed a few notes because I was careless. I really got into it and played things out of tune. Like I just played
Hit it
too
too
hard.
hard.
oh yeah,
yeah,
I have
and-
a
and-
tendency to palm mute too much, and
Yeah.
I have to remember that I have a tremolo
Oh
now.
right.
Oh yeah,
Which-
yeah.
I forget about, and sometimes I'll lean too hard on the
Oh,
bridge
no.
and push myself out of pitch. So
That's fun. All right, cool. Well, thank you both
Yeah,
very
of course.
much
Thank you.
for stopping by. And right now we're going to take a look at a quick video. This is going. What did we put? Oh yeah, this is going to take a look at Brennan Small of Metalocalypse and Home Movies fame, talking about Rocksmith. While that's going on, we're going to give away 5 copies of this week's DLC, the Metal Mix 2, for Steam in the chat. So look for UB Jurassic to learn how you can win one of those 5 copies of this week's DLC. And we'll be back with more music right after that.
Learn a song.
Rocksmith is the fastest way to learn to play guitar. Plug in any electric guitar or bass into your PC or game console and choose from more than 700 songs. Learn to play in 60 days with Rocksmith. Available now.
Didn't you write this song?
Yes, but I I forgot how to play it on guitar.
Is that normal?
I don't know. Maybe. See, I don't remember any of this. It's good though. It's a good song.
It's not bad.
Not bad. I'm now wondering if I wrote this.
And welcome back to this week's Metal Mix 2 Rocksmith Dev Stream. I remain your host and community developer for Rocksmith, Doug Lilly, and I am pleased to be able to introduce our next set of guests. Directly to my left, Rykin, welcome.
What's up?
How's it going?
Everything's good.
You are a note tracker here in San Francisco, Ubisoft Studio SF. I just threw an extra San Francisco in there. I'd like to point it out. We're going to bookend the name of the studio with SF. And then to your left, Travis Kindred.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
It hasn't been that long this time.
No, it's
which
been
I'm
like
happy
a
to say.
week or
It's
two.
a couple weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you play last?
I can't remember.
It was something
It's
on
music.
bass. Yeah, probably something on bass
Mm-hmm.
that was tricky.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're sort of you're my
mhm.
go-to for that.
Yeah.
like the heavy lifting
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
for the bass
And
chair.
this week for this week's bonus song, Rye sits beside me, down not here. Well, I guess right here you do as well sometimes, but down where we usually sit at our desks, Rye is beside me, and you just happened to be there when I was trying to think of what we wanted to play for this week's bonus song. So you more or less got to pick.
Well, my first
think-
choice was a rat round and round, but you're like, that's not heavy enough, dude.
I was like, it's I think it's technically would fit, but maybe not the spirit of the pack.
This is Redneck by Lamb of God,
Redneck by Lamb of God.
one of my favorite metal bands,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
for sure.
a lot of fun. Virginia Beach area. I never got to see them in Virginia Beach, but I got to play down there once.
Oh, no
which
way.
is fun. Yeah, not that, which is just me inserting myself into the Lamb of God story. I had nothing to do with them.
I
was
saw
just
them
in
open
the
up
town
for
where
got
I'm from.
canon now.
Yeah, that's
They
silly.
did,
I take it back. Take that. I strike that from the record. Delete this. Delete the stream. Yeah, Lamb of God.
They were on
Redneck.
one of those tours with Megadeth. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
That I saw. It was awesome.
Okay.
San Jose.
Nice.
And this one actually is not as low tuned as
This is only drop D,
this is
believe it or
only
not.
drop D.
Yeah.
It's not that
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah. Anything? So what draws you to this band?
Oh, I just think they have a unique approach to writing riffs, and they don't sound like a lot. They have a unique sound, and I really like their production. And it's not the most shreddiest band, but like their riffs are super intricate and cool,
Yeah.
and pretty difficult to play, as I found out practicing this one.
And what are we looking at on bass?
Yeah, there's a lot of mimicking the riffs. It is very difficult. The nice thing is that it's all patterns. So it's one of those things where it's just a matter of time. Like that's the only way to learn this is you just have to put in time. Because once you've gotten the patterns down, I think there's 4 or 5. That's it. It just repeats those patterns, at least for the bass part. But getting those patterns down, it just takes time.
So time to get the patterns down, and then just this sort of
Once you have them down, you're just like, all right, in what order are they happening?
right.
Yeah. And that's not always. That's kind of
And then
complicated too.
that changes, and
Because
that's
all the
that
little
that-
turnarounds and stuff.
Gotcha.
Are,
Yeah, it'll be like
at different times.
a normal song would go like A B C B B.
Yeah.
Right, that's a normal song structure. This is like A B A C Q A B Q T
Like B point C.
3,
Yeah.
and then A, but different.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a look. This is Redneck by Lamb of God. love that song. Jean308 says, what was that? Is it just me, or is Rye totally in his element right now? See, yes, we got. We also
Nicely
got
done.
when Rye practices, watch out. That was from.
Hey, I just
Toby
listen
C.
to that stuff when I'm on the elliptical at the gym.
Oh,
I never
yeah,
play
yeah.
it. It's just
I
it's a workout. I'll
Yeah,
tell you that
sure,
much.
yes,
The
it
right hand. Now the cool thing
Yeah.
about it that makes it a little easier, it's a lot of alternate picking, so it's not as much like heavy downstrokes, but
right.
it's still
Like
fast.
the sort of like the main verse riff for that, I guess. It's not so aggressive. It's more sinister and kind of creeping.
a little more syncopated too rhythmically, and
Yeah.
you know, I was blowing it a few times on some of those, like we were talking about those different turnarounds, the twists
Yeah.
and turns of the riff.
Yeah.
And it goes by so fast because
Yeah.
I haven't practiced it that much, but you know, I thought I sounded better downstairs. It was perfect. I swear to God.
It's perfect in the practice.
No, by the time you realize you're like, oh, that's the wrong one. It's like already gone by.
So
Yeah.
the camera always either removes or adds 5%.
Yeah.
to your
Instead
score.
of pounds, it's just like
Yeah,
score.
yeah.
Each camera adds 5 clams,
It's a 5.
and there's 5 cameras in
But
it.
it can go. But it can go either way. Some people tend to like they'll get a higher score under the sort of pressure of the cameras, and some people will get a slightly lower score.
Hey, one other thing to mention about this band that's I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Mesa Boogie guy, and they are Mesa Boogie artists.
Right.
And we have a couple of Mesa Boogie guys. I think a lot of Mesa Boogie guys actually in Rocksmith.
Oh yeah, here
Oh, for
Woo
sure.
from back there. I still can't see who's saying what. I do have some questions.
Yeah.
First one for Travis. Now I'm gonna read you this question, knowing from conversations that we've had before that you tend not to use drop tuning,
Yeah.
and you tend to only use 4-string, or did I get that backwards?
I usually don't drop tune, and I almost exclusively use 5-string.
5-string. Okay. So this question is from Lai Wangsta. If I'm playing drop D tracks on my 5-string bass, should I also drop the B to an A so any sloppy playing sounds better, or is the real answer just to get good and not be sloppy?
Well, I think regardless of how you play, get good and not be sloppy is always a good idea. But if you're playing, so like something like this, like I wouldn't play this on a 5-string because the way it sits on the fingerboard in drop D tuning is much more conducive to like the hand.
Yeah.
If I were playing this, that drop D would be the 3rd fret on the 5th string, which would make this really awful. Right. A lot of drop D stuff usually drones on the open string. There's also a quality to an open string that you can't get by having a fretted note. That open string, like in classical world, like open strings are where you get that sort of gorgeous sound. This very open. So bass instruments, cello and bass, tend to have very, very like honking, like open strings because it really solidifies the foundation. And in really really percussive music like this, you really like lock into that open string. So I would definitely recommend if you're using a 5-string and it's in drop D, drop the E to a D. Don't worry about the 5th string. You're probably not going to play it. If you want to drop it to an A because you're like, oh, I want to hear that subharmonic of the A when I play the D, sure. If that's an appealing sound to you, that's great. It's not necessary, and it's not necessarily going to make it easier to play. But if you like the sound, then yeah, that's a great idea.
And I remember a lot of times when I would play a 5-string bass and I would be playing like 4-string songs on a 5-string bass, I tended to rest my thumb on the B string, on that 5th string.
Yeah.
Where do you tend to anchor? Or do you anchor?
So, like, regardless of how many strings are on the bass, I almost always anchor my thumb either on the adjacent string or on the outside string. If I'm playing the outside string, I'll usually anchor on the side of a pickup.
Okay.
Or if I'm trying to go for that sort of like smooth, woody sound, I'll anchor it on the side of the neck.
Okay.
The fingerboard.
That'll
But
checks
yeah,
out.
anchor. But I can also anchor from here. I can anchor from here. It really depends on the line. My students ask that question a lot, and the first answer is always make sure that you're playing the technique correctly. Like make sure that every note you play sounds correct, and then address the issue of where to put your thumb.
Okay.
If your thumb is keeping you from playing, then we have to address that issue. If it's not a problem, then let's not try to fix it.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, basically, if it's not broken,
If
don't
it ain't
fix
broke.
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Another question. This one from Fafnir the Dragon. These tones are good. Who did the tone matching in Rocksmith? Who does the tone matching in Rocksmith? That is Brennan West, the tone chaperone. Sometimes in the chat is kind of Cindy Brindy. But yeah, that's it. Brennan West.
Yeah.
All the tones since forever.
I mean,
almost forever?
for as long as I've been here.
Yeah, as long as I think either of us have been on
Yeah.
Rocksmith.
Yeah, he's great. He's got a pair of ears that are worth their weight in gold.
And the next question, another one from Totally Not Fio. I'm not sure about the answer to this one. Is a symptom of Redneck being an RS1 song that it doesn't have chord notations on the bends? Yes. I'm not sure. Yes. Answer from the back. Yes. So I guess that I'm not sure exactly what was being asked.
Yeah, so on the bends, it's not showing you the chord.
The actual, like, okay.
Double stops.
Yeah, the double stops aren't being shown, and that
Gotcha.
There are some standards and practices in note tracking that have evolved and developed since the product first started.
Right.
What the note trackers do best is they improve. They constantly get better, and that's because the goal is always to provide the most accurate and easy to play transcription possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for doing that. And thank you for joining us and playing. Anything else we wanted to say about Lamb of God, or did we cover it with the actual song itself?
Don't let this fast song fool you. It is much easier to play than it seems. You just have to slow it down and practice. This is not something that only expert players can play. This is something anyone can play. It just takes a lot of time.
As with anything that's complicated, just loop the smaller. Don't try to play all the way through the song and learn it as one pass.
Right.
You gotta
Chunk it up.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Good advice. Thank you both very much. Right now, we're going to take a look at some other songs in case you missed them. As you might have guessed from the name of this song pack, Metal Mix 2, there was a previous Metal Mix song pack. And it came out not too awful long ago. It came out in May of 2018. And that one had 3 artists. I believe it was all 3 artists. It was their first time in Rocksmith. We had Dark Throne with Transylvanian Hunger, Morbid Angel with Immortal Rights, and Testament with Souls of Black. In addition to that metal mix, we have several miscellaneous metal singles that have shown up in other mix packs throughout the ages, such as we had Extreme's Play With Me, which was on the 80s mix song pack along with Devo's Girl You Want and Judas Priest's Electric Eye. There was Arch Enemy's Nemesis, which I may have brought up in the past couple weeks, but that song was on Variety Pack 1, the very first Variety Pack, along with Nazareth's Hair of the Dog, Monsters of Men's Little Talks, and the Presidents of the United States of America's Peaches. We also had Sepultura's Refuse Resist on Variety 4. We had Annihilator with Alice in Hell on Variety 22, and Bring Me the Horizon with Can You Feel My Heart in the 2010s Mix Song Pack 3. And there's plenty of other metal, either in band packs or in other mix packs. It's in there. You just got to look around for it. We are about to say hello to our final guests of the evening. We're not quite there, but we're almost there. In the meantime, we're still taking questions, so if you have any questions for us, make sure you reach out to UB Jurassic, and he will get those questions to me, and we'll answer as many of them as we can in the duration of the stream. We still do have one more giveaway that's coming up a little bit later, but right now, I want to go ahead and say hello to our final guests. Hello, final guests.
Hello.
How's it going?
I was going to
Good.
ask you.
Oh,
how's it going?
How are you going?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Can I stand?
No one's ever asked.
Can I stand?
It looks all right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
You're good. You sure? So, Brian Shu, you are also a note tracker here.
I am.
You did note
Indeedy.
track this song?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Crystal Mountain. Crystal Mountain is the song. Death is the artist. So you note tracked this one.
I did.
Jackie,
Hi.
welcome back. It's been a
Thanks.
little while. I think the last.
Yeah.
Well, I think the last time you were here, I wasn't.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that-
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So welcome back.
Thanks.
The two of you are playing Death.
Yes.
We're gonna try to not die
Sure,
during
sure,
the
sure.
performance of this song.
Sure. What are we looking forward to? So Death, people who aren't familiar with Death, which from my personal background, if you are in the metal scene in any capacity, you know of Death. But that might be an age thing. That might just be because of when I was coming up in and around that scene. Death was sort of the pinnacle of what you wanted in an extreme metal band. But I've seen more people than I would have guessed not know who Death was. So we are here to spread the word.
Yeah, I guess they're they coined, or from their influence, the term death metal came out of
That's
This
that's
band, I
more or
guess.
less my understanding.
Yeah. I know Chuck, the main lead guitar player that sang and he sang, right? Yeah, he
Yeah.
sang and played lead guitar in the song. He like died really early. He died when he was like 34
Very
back
young.
in 2001, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. But he was very
Around there.
influential. Like, man, he could play lead. He could play a bunch of crazy stuff and sing while doing it. And like he used a lot of exotic scales. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for that kind of like slightly Marty Friedman-ish, like kind of exotic scale thing, you're going to find a bunch of that in this music. It also has a lot of hints of kind of 90s thrash influence, a lot of like chromatic harmony that doesn't necessarily make sense as far as like diatonic harmony, but it just sounds cool.
Right.
Like, you know, trying to analyze the song as we have to do sometimes was like
that
kind
shouldn't
of
be
a
there.
pain.
That shouldn't be what it is. But
You
that's
should
what
not
It is.
have to try to label this stuff, but yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, it's good stuff, good music. In the lead part, there's a bunch of leaps, so you're going to be playing a lot of low stuff
And then jumping way
up.
the neck.
It's not like the fastest guitar playing, so it's not going to be like precision. I can't speak. Precision shred like Children of Bodom, but it's definitely a little bit shreddy. Really cool lead work. Yeah.
All right. And Jackie, for the bass part, we generally disclose when we're not playing at 100%.
Disclose away.
Disclose away. So the bass part today is going to be played at around 60% difficulty.
It's still hard.
what are we looking at in the bass line that's so challenging?
Well, I did notice a little bit of what you were saying with just the sort of chromatic scales that happen. It doesn't happen too much in the bass part, but you know, I'm at 60% and it's still pretty fast. And it's a lot of kind of string switching, and I'm a beginner, so I can't play with a pick to save my life. So this is about as fast as I can go.
I didn't play with the
fingers.
pick either.
You
today.
didn't? Okay.
Yeah, I used fingers today, and I think Travis also used fingers for redneck.
Oh, well, then there we go.
Yeah,
A lot of great
It's a weird
metal bass players actually use their fingers,
Yeah.
like 4-finger or
thank you.
3-finger technique.
Thank you, Brian.
I'm not putting myself in that category.
All right. All right. Thank you both. We're going to take a look at Death's Crystal Mountain right now. I like
How's one fret
I know,
off?
I'm like,
Do that again.
That always throws me off like going up there.
Play us out, Jackie.
It gets faster and faster as it's fading out too. I'm like, no.
This is great.
That wasn't my best, but
and
that's okay. It was fun.
It's okay.
That's why people.
You
love
did
it,
good
too.
though.
I did okay.
So I have a question for Toy Machine SH, and I'm not totally sure what's being asked. So hopefully it's
Sure.
he probably wouldn't ask anything dangerous. So this is the song that has the alt lead path.
Yeah.
So this is the one, maybe.
I think so.
Again, it's been a while
I don't
since
remember.
the note trackers have worked on these.
You mean out of the pack? There's
yes.
one song that has an alt lead.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And I believe it's this one. Toy Machine asks, where'd it go? Why is the main riff on alt lead before the fun riff? Lol. Do you know what any of that means?
No.
Okay. Sorry, Toy. Well, as soon as the question later, we'll try to get back to you. What so
Was that
do you,
not fun?
do you recall? It looks fun to me. But do you recall what is in the alt lead? Like what constitutes?
I just don't know what fun riff means.
Right.
It's all kind of fun to me. So
there you have it. Your questions.
no.
Well, just kidding, Toy.
just as a blanket answer, I guess in general, when we're looking at arranging these tunes,
Sure.
sometimes we're met with certain like time constraints when it comes to arranging stuff.
Yeah.
So like, sometimes we just kind of have to make do with like, okay, this is what we have. We gotta kind of arrange it a certain way to be able to try and represent as many things as we can without like leaving too much stuff out or, you know. So sometimes, I don't know. maybe you weren't expecting the alt arrangement to be a certain way,
Cool.
but
Okay.
but it's just
The-
kind of the way the note tracker designed it. So I'm sorry if you did not have as much fun.
Well, the clean part especially at the end.
Yeah.
Right? The clean part.
Oh,
Is that-
yeah,
is
the
that
little
rhythm or is
acoustic
that alt
things?
lead? Yeah.
I don't remember.
Don't remember. So it might be that. It might.
Yeah.
That might be what he's talking about.
It might be that because I think I've note tracked something like, I don't know, a
lot,
billion
honestly. Yeah.
tunes since this. So it's been a while.
All right, so we'll work on that question, Toy. We'll try to get some more information from you. Sky Moose 99 also has another question. I always struggle with tapping. Any suggestions on this technique? So if you're just
Tapping.
if you're approaching
Okay.
tapping for the first time.
So one thing to realize about tapping is that when you're tapping, you're not just like pushing the fret and lifting it. You're actually kind of doing pull-offs with your right hand. So instead of just tapping and then lifting it, a lot of times that will result in a very weak lower note. So what you want to do is practice doing something like this. So just take the 12th fret and then push it out. And you should be able to do this indefinitely. And then add the first finger. Right?
Yeah.
So now you're working on two things. And then if you want to start adding your, left hand flutters or pull off techniques, try to approach it like this, like tap, push, hammer on, pull off.
Okay.
So, and you should be able to do this indefinitely. And if you and if you're having trouble with this part of the hand, you can also isolate that with the same. It's basically the same practice. So as I was doing that, right, with the open string, you're doing the same thing with your left hand, and you want to be able to kind of. This is a great hammer on and pull off exercise. You should be able to do this indefinitely, and there's a lot of factors that may affect the sound that's coming out, like muting. If I don't mute properly, you're going to hear a lot of string kind of noise.
Yeah.
You're going
So
to hear like
that
kind
low
of
rumble.
Yeah, sympathetic vibrations. Also, low action helps a lot. Lower action. If you have really high action and super thick strings, it's going to be a pain in the butt to tap. Also, distortion. Or clean. If you're really working on really great technique, you should be able to get basically the same sound with clean guitar.
Really?
Than with distortion, because it should transfer between the two very well. There's plenty of great bands out there that their whole thing is just tapping with clean guitars
Right.
instead of with distortion. So
Interesting. Interesting. All right. Cool. Well, thank you both very much for coming and playing some Death. Right now, we are going to have our final giveaway of the stream. So please, if you're out there watching in chat, listen to what UB Jurassic, that is Brian Turner, the community manager for Rocksmith, listen to what he tells you so that you can have a chance to win this Ernie Ball prize pack that you see now on your screen. That prize pack is going to have 2 sets of strings. It's going to come with a dozen picks from Ernie Ball, 3 picks from us here at Rocksmith. You're going to get a bright red Ernie Ball guitar strap. You are going to get a package of Wonder Wipes to keep your guitar's neck, body, and strings fresh and lasting longer. And you are going to get a peg winder from Ernie Ball. All of that can be yours if you listen to UB Jurassic in the chat. If you win, he will send you a whisper, and he will get your name, your shipping address, and your phone number. We do need all of that information, but we also do ship internationally. So if you are not in the U.S., please try to break up your address line by line to make it a little bit easier for me to get your prize to you. And good luck in that raffle. We are just about done here today. I have a few little notes to let you know if I find the right piece of paper. Oh, there it is. As always, we are on social media. So come say hi. We are on Twitter and Instagram at RocksmithGame. And we are on Facebook, just facebook.com/Rocksmith. Check out our forums. If you go to rocksmith.com, there will be a link at the top for our forums there. While you're there, check out our newsfeed. We have new articles that we're releasing roughly weekly now. So check those out. And speaking of our forums, tomorrow morning there will be a clue. So I believe that's going to be posted by UB Siraxia. UB Jurassic can tell me if I'm wrong in the chat. So that should be up pretty early tomorrow AM. UB Jurassic can have more information about when that should go up. But we will have a clue from RS222, from Rolling Stone 222, who's one of you. He's part of the community, and he develops the puzzles weekly, and you all can go there and talk about the puzzle, figure it out, and get your first look at what's coming next week. That can be done on the forums tomorrow morning. Other than that, we have an encore stream coming up this Monday, not the last Monday of this month, because I won't be here this week, and I'm being selfish and keeping it with me while I'm here. So that's going to be Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I believe 10 p.m. in the UK. But we can work out those times. We'll let you know when it's going to be. We'll post about it after this. That encore stream is going, and if you haven't seen one of our encore streams, those are something we do roughly once a month. We get to look at a topic that's a little bit outside of our normal weekly stream where we look at the DLC. These look at specific topics a bit more in depth. Last month, we had an encore about songwriting. It was sort of a lecture. Well, this month, we're doing another encore stream about songwriting. This is going to be more of the lab to last month's lecture. So we're going to have the same 3 people here, and we're going to basically demonstrate how one might write a song on stream. So make sure to check that out. We'll have more information coming up on that this weekend on those social media channels that I mentioned earlier, and maybe right there. So check us out. Come back Monday, see us then. And as always, we'll have this stream next Thursday for whatever we have next week. Right now, we're going to take one more look at the Metal Mix Song Pack 2, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Wake up, don't cry. Regenerate to deny the truth, the fiction. You leave me blind by your eyes. Disclosure, 703. This time you got to fly. Oh, good, it be my hypocrite, a slave to the curse, forever confined.